Heading over to the 12th Avenue bike lane from 17th Ave. And this runs east-west, and I'll be going west. And it is a dedicated bike lane, separate from the roadway, separated by a curb and little green poles you can see there. And if I was to go east, it would go all the way towards the Stampede grounds, Victoria Park, near where the Elbow River merges with the Bow River. And from here, when I head west, it's going to take me towards Edworthy Park. That's kind of my destination. Away we go. This is 14th Street in front of me. looking back east along 12th Ave. Now, there we go. See, they tore a few homes down here. They were kind of like slumlord properties. They'll probably put a few more infills just like that. And when I first moved out on my own, it was the early 80s, and this is the first neighborhood I lived in. In fact, my apartment was to the right around the corner here, at the end of that block on the left. Yeah, it's like 45 years ago. Wow. Just gonna go slower on this corner. And that bridge in front of me is the C train, light rail transit, LRT. Comes out of and goes into downtown from I guess Sarcee Trail to the west there, 69th Street maybe, yeah. And there's a small portion here where I have to go on the road, but only for a block or so. You can see the detour sign in front of me, the bike sign. And I got a green bike and a don't walk. Now I make a hard right here. And then I get back on the path. Across the tracks. Thankfully there's no train, or I think I hear one. So yeah, a slight detour for a couple of blocks, but there's rarely, if any, traffic through here, except that rush hour maybe. And I should have gone up there where the path is, but this is like some city yards or whatever, right? Yeah, there we go. It says pathway closed, but I was here the other day and it was not. So this is think it still is. The Pump House Theatre. Of course, given the name, prior to that it was a pump house. Don't know what's there now, but I recall going to a few theater type shows way back in the late 70s, maybe the 80s. And we got more of these construction fences here, but I think this is just for landscaping. I don't know what they're doing. They poured a concrete pad here. Don't know what they're up to. But I'll be making a left. Nobody to my right. That's the Bow River. Yeah, these fences make what otherwise is a pleasant little park. Yeah, they are doing some upgrades in there. Not sure what, but I'm getting used to seeing these construction hoarding type fences all over the city. So this is Crowchild Trail in front of me that runs north and south. Beneath that you'll see a bridge there, pedestrian bridge. That's where I'm headed. I could go straight through and take the path, but a lot of times there's a train and you don't want a train running along next to you for half an hour. That can be noisy. So I'm going to make a right here. Some rafters today out there. Maybe I'll stop midway up here and do a shot. More rafters there. Downtown is to my right. That's downtown. Yeah, several rafters beneath me, beneath the bridge. So when I get up here, I'm going to make a left. I used to ride this to work every day. It was 28 kilometers both ways every day. So I was in really good shape then. Still in decent shape for a guy in his 60s. In another video, these islands after the 2013 flood, that island wasn't even there. These were, they were smaller, but a lot of that turbulence from the water stirred up a lot of boulders and created these islands. That was a doozy of a flood. This is Memorial Drive. Actually, 3rd Avenue, Memorial Drive, and Parkdale Boulevard are one in the same. Just depends where you are along here. this new pathway. I don't know why the hell it's closed. Looks like a lot of people. So now I'm riding my bike on the pedestrian only path, and that would be the cycle path there to my right. And there's a train I was talking about. Glad I didn't encounter that. Yeah, it's okay. I get a better view of the river from here. Whew. Looks like the fire emergency team out there. A lot of people on pleasure craft and rafts. Yeah, that's brand new. Nice. The old path was a bit bumpy, not too bad, but the city is usually pretty good with the major pathway areas or zones. They upgrade when needed. Yeah, lots of people out on dinghies and canoes. And the Foothills Hospital is to my right. You can see part of it up there. And that's where my father was before he passed away. Dad passed away in May 2025, so I was making daily trips there, as well as to his assisted living facility once he was moved there, and eventually hospice. So for 8 months during my father's cancer, that was like a daily routine. I actually took my dad's bike for a ride the other day. The frame is slightly smaller, and even when I raise the seat, I can't get the handlebars to the height I'd like them, so my bike is a little better for my size. Yeah, that's a long train. So where is this going to take me now? Bike path is open here, so we got a closure here as well. So that whole stretch is probably due to open in a day once all finished, unless they plan on doing some landscaping around it. I'm going to stop for a pit stop up here, give my camera a rest, and get a sip of water. There's a little seating area up here. Actually, I could take a bench there in the shade. Or is there another one? Little construction fence here. What's that for? What are they protecting? Oh, they're replacing some stones, patio stones. And that's too sunny. Where's a bench with some shade? I think I see something coming up. This is Parkdale, the neighborhood. Some rafters. Heads up. Yeah. I'll just take a walk over here. Oh yeah, lots of people sun worshiping here. I'll just take a breather and get some water. All right, here we go. Some people launching, so I am on the pedestrian path. These properties back onto this beautiful park. I think coming up is McKay Point, and this might be part of McKay Point too, I'm not sure, or maybe it's still Parkdale, but then maybe McKay Point is in Parkdale, I'm not really sure. I know that apartment building in front of me there, I'm pretty sure that's called McKay Point. People are, for the most part, courteous. They ring their bell. I haven't done a lot of riding this year, so it's not a race. I'm kind of moseying along like that guy who just passed me there. But understandably, a lot of these people are headed home from work and they want to get home. It's got to be pushing 4 p.m. But yet some people don't give you much room. This guy cut right in front of me. The bell ringer was the lady on the bike, and he was giving her shit for something. Yeah, she even hand signaled. That's nice. So we're coming up on Edworthy Park. The last time I did this trip was last June, and I pedaled out to Bowness Park. Unintentional. I got this far and I figured, let's give her. It's I think 27 degrees right now. That was the forecast high. And there's a footbridge just over here. I signaled for the guy behind me. And Angel's Cafe. Good little place to get a snack, but always check your order. They got 3 brains making one order, and they tend to forget stuff. Get on my bike and get halfway down the path and look, and oh, they forgot my butter tart that I paid for. That's cool. Oh, lots more rafters on this side. There's a guy snorkeling there. Wow. I've swam here before. It's not too bad. Come this time of the summer, you know, mid to late August. Good behind me. Oh, even more people over there. Wow. And this is where a lot of people launch their boats. Here or Bowness, which is much further up. I think to pedal to Bowness Park would be another hour pedal, maybe. I don't know if I'm into that today. You never know. Yeah, on the weekends this place is super busy, and you can book these picnic sites. There's smaller sites, larger sites, and there's many behind me over my right shoulder too, picnic sites. This is a perfect one in the shade right here. I think my stabilizer should be able to handle this bumpiness on my camera. I saw some footage before and it looked like I was hovering over the grass. Not much to see here. There is a path that goes further up, straight ahead there. Bike path goes around here up to the top. I think I was up there years ago, like Signal Hill or something up that way. I honestly forget. But I'm gonna turn around and go back in the park. I might go down to the water's edge. There's some nice benches, and there's more picnic areas to my right behind this big hedge, and there's a kids playground if you got kids, a big gazebo, and if it rains you can always go in here. Yeah, I think there's access to the river down here. There's a few places I can access. There's a little path to my left where there's some benches in there too. This is kind of cool. That guy's got the right idea. I'm going to sit in here because I know there's some benches and it's shady and I'm going to recharge. I did bring my power block so I can recharge. I just got to find the bench. All these willow trees. There's somebody sitting on a bench there. If I remember correctly, there's some benches right here. Or up there. Let's see. Maybe to my right up there. Yeah, there it is. Back up. I got all this on camera. There we go. And 440 or thereabouts, and no mosquitoes. You gotta like that. It's one thing about Calgary, even after all the rain we had in July, I'm sure they're a little worse than normal, but Calgary, for the most part, I can go all summer and get a handful of mosquito bites at best. All right. So this is where I'm sitting, and that's the little bridge that I came across. I'm just filming this with my phone. There's my little spot. There's another spot, I think there's 2 or 3 more down here, this little pathway. There's another spot there. But I'm just going to recharge the battery on my GoPro. It takes up a lot of juice running in 4K. And it was only a 20-minute ride from my place, which is basically kind of close to downtown, to here, Edworthy Park. Maybe a little more than 20 minutes, but it did suck up nearly 40% of my battery. And I wasn't running it for more. I think the longest clip was 8 minutes, but most of them were 2-minute clips between lights, right? So I just want to come down here, show the people here. So with 9% gone on that, I know my GoPro is sitting at about 82% right now. I think it was at around 60. So I got enough juice there to get me home and shoot whatever footage I need to shoot. When I go home, I'm not going to take the same way as I came here, but I will take part of this path back, and then I'll take the opposite side of the Bow, the north side of the Bow River pathway, to get me into downtown. On your left. No worries.
Hello? Oy, iusap ko na ng sandal.
Why the fuck does that derail or not? Maybe this is part rush hour traffic coming towards me, I don't know. You know, I'm just noticing now how green everything is, and I made a comment a few days ago, but now if you look ahead there, the tops of those poplar trees are beginning to go yellow straight ahead of me here. Some of them. And that's not bad. I mean, we had a lot of rain in July. With that rain, maybe they'll still stay green a little bit longer. But it's only a few of them. You know, in a couple of weeks there'll be a few more, and then before you know it, winter will be here, and I'll be walking along here in snow making video content. Maybe. And the Bow River is to my right. I don't think it's visible. I'm just gonna plop myself on the bench. Downtown is straight ahead. Or that's a portion of downtown. I'm just gonna sit over here in the shade. Another family getting ready to launch. So ready to go. That family just took their raft down there. It's pretty funny, little boy, little girl, about the same age spread as my sister Donna and I were. And I would always play around with her. The dad was trying to put a life jacket on the younger sibling, and the older brother said, "He's not doing that to be mean, he's doing that so you don't die." And I laughed out loud when I heard that. Sounds like something I would have said to my sister when we were kids. Now I just got a shoulder check. Now we're on Memorial Drive, heading in a southeast direction. I'm going to take this side of the Bow River. I'm not going to cross that bridge. I'm going to pedal on this side past Kensington, because I was there a week and a half ago and I saw a lot of construction along Memorial Drive, the pathway in particular, and I kind of want to see what that's all about and how extensive it is. Despite all the signage at every junction saying that the cycle path here is closed, people are still pedaling on it. And I even had a pedestrian there yell at me. I politely told her that there's no access to it back there, big sign saying pathway closed. But I think people are going around that, like you saw earlier in my video. I suppose I could have done that, but it works out because I'm closer to the river again. I can see the river a little better. Just gotta make sure I ring my bell. Yeah. And that's where the bike path closure begins, is right here. But people are just going around it. Pretty sure I would do the same thing tomorrow if I came here again. Oh, they've got it open now. I think a cyclist removed that. That would be my guess. I can't see the city coming out at this time of the day. Or a pedestrian removed it. Possibly the lady who yelled at me. Oh, I can only do 60 kilometers an hour? Oh. Busy path. I don't see anybody using it going in my direction, so they must all work downtown, rush hour. So I know coming up here I have the option of going up or down. I'm going to take the lower path. The upper would take me straight through, but also across that pedestrian bridge, but the lower definitely takes me straight through. And it's been a long time since I've gone on the lower. And it's closer to the river. Now, yeah, and that's Memorial Drive to my left. Way over there. But our bike path system, and I've said this before in my last video, it's over 1,000 kilometers of paved path for bike in this city. And for the most part it connects you. I saw somebody upload a video rating bike paths in Canada, and they really didn't gauge Calgary's very well. It does connect you with communities. I mean, every system can be better, but Calgary's is like one of the best in Canada that I've been on. There's downtown. And if I was to take that bridge, it would take me over Memorial, and I forget the name of that area. It's not Bridgeland yet. Bridgeland is much further up east. I just don't recall the name. But that's where the Foothills Hospital would be, up there. Lots of rafters. You can see the rafters there. Whew. Plenty of people. Wow, that's really cool. I think a lot of people were so upset with Calgary in July because it rained for the most. I think out of 4 weeks it probably rained 3 of them every day. We had a lot of rain. I mean, the temperatures weren't too bad. It was still like low 20s. I think there was a couple days where we dipped down to like 12. But I think these people are trying to take advantage of the last bit of summer we have. And I don't blame them. That's why I'm out. And I should point out that none of my videos, I've only got a few, none of them are monetized. I've never even considered that. I haven't been tagging any of my videos or doing all the little things you do to get views. I had a YouTube account that I started back in 2006, and it was primarily music. Like, I collect records, so it was a lot of obscure music from the 70s, and I would do vinyl rips and, you know, shoot the video while it's spinning on my turntable kind of thing. And that was 20 years ago. And I was kind of frequenting that and uploading stuff there for the better part of a decade, maybe up until about 2016. 2017, where I really stopped, slowed down, and a lot of it had to do with copyright on the music and YouTube's copyright laws changing at that time. That being said, there's a lot of stuff that flew under the radar. But this channel is just out and about, kind of walking around videos here and there. I used to do a lot of traveling pre-COVID in Europe and Asia, so there might be a few of those on this channel. But my ex-wife and I had a channel we shared where we put a lot of our travel videos up, and I might share some of that stuff. But that being said, the camera I was using back then was just a, I think in the beginning was just a Panasonic Lumix point and shoot with a video feature. But then eventually I began using, I think I had a Samsung S something back a decade ago, and some of those videos didn't stabilize very well, so I would add a stabilizer in Movie Maker. So yeah, I really, now that I've got the GoPro, which I've had for almost a year, I wish I would have had this technology, you know, a decade, 15 years ago. I had friends that had the early GoPros, but I never invested in one until recently. So I don't want to go up. That's 14th Street. I'm going to stay down here. And eventually I'll get to Prince's Island Park. Oh, yes, the blue fence. Where do we go? Where do we go? Pathway detour. Where? I do not see a pathway detour. Going up and around? No, thank you. I'm taking this. No wheeling permitted ahead. Well, whatever. I'll just say I thought it said wheelies. I'm not doing any wheelies. So yeah, that's a major construction. I bet you this is going to go all the way through to Kensington, and maybe this has got to do with, I don't think it's the Green Line, because this is too far west. So maybe it's a major upgrade to the bike path, cycle path. I really don't know. Unfortunately, this pedestrian path is really narrow through here, and I'll gladly get out of the way for somebody, or they would for me, and walk along this little part to the left. Anyway, that's unfortunate. I'm sure that'll be closed for the better part of a year or more. So I just pulled over to have a quick look, and they have that iron retaining wall sort of thing, and they're going to backfill all that, I suppose, and put flowers in there, much like what you see towards Prince's Island. So yeah, that's a several kilometer major upgrade to the bike path right there. I'm just going to get back on the path, the pedestrian path, but I've seen several cyclists taking it. Yeah, Kensington is just around the corner up here. I don't know what that is, just a little rest area, but Oh, it's for a memorial for fallen soldiers, because of course Memorial Drive is named after the fallen soldiers, Canadian soldiers, those who gave their lives in the first and second World Wars, but also Korea and other conflicts. I think perhaps even the Boer War. I could be mistaken. And when I first moved here, they still had all the big trees. I think they might have been elms or maples, but no, they wouldn't be maples, not here. But they had to tear them all down a few years ago. They were rotting and dying, and they replanted. So yeah, more construction here. So where these buildings are in front of me, that is Kensington, and it's an older area, much like Inglewood, Calgary. A lot of sort of upscale, or I shouldn't use the word pretentious, but in some ways. Once was a really good place to go hang out and eat and get a really good meal for a good price. Now you're looking at $20 hamburgers and that nonsense. So this is the Louise Bridge, 10th Street Bridge. And there's downtown over there. And it looks like there's another closure in front of me here. And that would be for the bike path development. This is already nice through here where I'm pedaling. So what they want to do is modernize this and tie in. So I can't get through there. So I'm going to see. Yeah, I got to go over the bridge, I guess. And I wasn't going to go much farther, just to the Peace Bridge, which is a few hundred meters, but I've been rerouted this way. I'm just going to stop. So there's Kensington, and over there is downtown. You can see part of a C train there, stuck on the bridge for whatever the reason. Or perhaps there's a red light at the intersection up there. That's probably what's going on. And when I'm pointing, it's from the perspective of my eyesight, not the camera, which is on top of my head. So yeah. And this used to be a cannabis store. It was like an Earl's or a restaurant years ago, I forget what. I'm not going to venture in there. It is a nice neighborhood, but I'm going to get across the bridge. I might stop on the bridge. There's a little viewpoint here. And the other side is quite pretty over there too. And that over there is, just beyond that bridge is Prince's Island Park. See how clear that water is, eh? Wow. Yeah, it really cleared up in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, there goes. Also, the train wasn't at a red light. And that's 4 strings. I keep hearing people say there aren't any strings with 4 cars, but yet that's all I see. And that's why they lengthened all of the C train platforms maybe a decade or more ago to accommodate 4 cars. And the initial C train platforms would only accommodate 3 cars. So I'm going to try and cut back in here. And Edworthy Park is to my right. Thanks. Another island to my left there that was created by the flood of 2013. And this is the west end of downtown. Now this building here looks like a pagoda or Chinese or Asian style. That used to be Seiskan Delta, and my father worked in that building back in the 70s, 80s, early 80s. And then now it's a Chinese cultural center, maybe? I'm not sure. On your left. Thank you. Just took a little pit stop to let the camera cool down. More construction. We are in Princess Island Park. More people were rafting today. I'm gonna cut over here. You know, I know this is a pedestrian walkway, but I'm just gonna go along here slowly. Here's the Peace Bridge. I uploaded a video a couple of weeks ago where I traveled across the bridge and I got to the other side and it was a dead end basically due to construction. I'll just stop here and do a 360 like Linda Blair. Maybe I can't. 220. Maybe I'll just get up here so I can take a look down the bridge. Yeah, if I go through here slow enough, I don't think I'll piss too many people off. And I did a full tour of the park in the video that I uploaded 2 weeks ago, and I crossed this bridge and I went all through the park. I'm going to go straight up here and then cut across the bridge by the Sheraton by Eau Claire. Willow trees. Those are big willows. They like water, or to be close to water. Mix of a few things I see: aspen, poplar. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but to my right, as I've been traveling, it's nothing but large condominium high-rises and things to my right, and that's downtown through there. I love these benches they have here. guess I could have crossed that bridge back there and drove through the park, but I just wanted to highlight this little sort of promenade here with the long bench. And when they tore down the old Eau Claire Park, this was all closed off for a few years. To develop this, there's some cool steam there, places to sit in there, a mock beach with real sand. An Eau Claire Market, which used to be like a downtown shopping center with theaters, used to be over beyond that construction area there. And they're going to be redeveloping that into I'm not sure what. But, and what's nice the last few years is these little cart vendors. They never used to have them here. And that's kind of new too, these little seats here. So in the winter, this is all frozen and it's turned into a skating pond to my right. And there's a dam up there, and there's actually a family of beaver that live in there. It's more of a wetland back there, like a nature preserve sort of thing. But it is nice to have this park downtown. Like, I mean, people who work down here, and I used to, depending on where you are, if you've got an hour for lunch, obviously you're not going to walk for half an hour to get here, but if you're close, it's convenient to get away. I'll just do a quick zip through here. And that's what makes this an island, because the Bow River is just ahead of me. But they've always kept the flower gardens and everything really well. The city here is well looked after, maintained. And there's a multitude of places to sit, picnic tables and benches. She told you.
Pardon?
I said she told you.
Yeah, I know, right? No, I don't want to wear it.
I heard that the other day and I thought it was talking to me, and I was like, I got a helmet. Yeah, these e-scooters talk to us now. So I shot a clip here a few weeks ago, and at that point the river was really high. Yeah, the e-scooters monitor your speed when you're riding them, and they talk to you if you're going too fast. They know whether or not you're wearing the helmet. And it's funny. Yeah, the river looks nicer now. If you saw my video a few weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, the river here 2 weeks ago was really high. And it was very murky 2 weeks ago. So this is Memorial Drive here, and that's still the bike lane modification they're doing there. So it's closed off way back to Kensington. But when I was here 2 weeks ago, you could not see bottom. It was really murky and high. So, and if you were to continue, you'd get to Fort Calgary and eventually Inglewood if you took the path this way. Yeah, they need to resurface this. The bridge in general is in great condition, just the surfacing on here. I don't know who they contract for these things, but it doesn't last long. I guess that's deliberate. Everything is disposable. Our skyline is really big in Calgary. I mean, for a city, I think we're around 1.3 million, but Metro 1.8, or sorry, yeah, Metro 1.8 million. Urban would be 1.3. Our downtown is more indicative of a city of well over 2 million. It's very big downtown. I'm just going to zip across. I'll go back. You know what? I'm going to shoot a little bit of the park. I'm going to go around the other side, just briefly, by the Riverwalk Cafe. Because, you know, with fall coming, you're not going to have flowers in this green, lush green, thanks to all the rain we had. Maybe the next time I come here, half the leaves will be gone. Who knows? I came here last September. I think it was September, late September, and it was 22 degrees and sunny, but the leaves were already falling and blowing around. So yeah, this is nice through here. Lots of picnic tables, lots of shade. And up there is the main stage when they have festivals. And they had a folk festival here not too long ago. In fact, when my cousin was visiting, we couldn't walk through here. They had everything fenced off for the festival. Yeah. When I moved here in '77, I think it was that summer or the next summer, Burton Cummings played here. He also played McMahon Stadium with Alice Cooper when it rained. I was at that show too, but he played here on the main stage. And my dad, my family's from Winnipeg, and our best friends were Kirkpatricks growing up. Their youngest daughter was born the same day my sister, so our mothers became friends. We became like family. And Ron Kirkpatrick is a direct cousin of Burton Cummings of the Guess Who. So we said to security, friends of Ron Kirkpatrick, and right away Burton opened up his trailer door. Hey, come on in. He had one sock on. I'll never forget this. One sock on, one sock off, and they were purple. And he had like satin pants in the 70s. And we talked with him for a bit. He was really cool. I would have been in my teens, and I was a big Guess Who fan. But you know what? At that point in time, I wasn't a big fan of his solo stuff. I mean, Stand Tall was a great song, but I preferred his work with the Guess Who. Anywho, and there's the canal. Actually, in some of the Guess Who libretto and some of the liner notes on records, they mention Granny Kirkpatrick, Burton's grandmother Kirkpatrick. And there's the River Cafe. And I did show this in a video 2 weeks ago. When I came through here that day, this whole path was blocked by geese. You had to go all the way around. So now, I think I'm gonna sit down and have some water in the shade and recharge my GoPro and let it cool down. And I think when I travel over grass, I saw the stabilizer on this camera is excellent. It looked like I was flying over the grass, despite it being really bumpy. Yeah, these GoPros are impressive. They have their drawbacks, but for the most part, I'm really happy with it. It seems to handle contrast and light. I mean, at nighttime, you got to have a different setting and set the ISO slightly different. I haven't done a lot of night shooting. I got to figure that out, but daytime is pretty good. I'm just gonna go under this bridge. It looks like something out of a fairy tale, this bridge. Plop in the shade over here. This is where I typically go. My tree is to the left, but it looks like there's sun there. So maybe not. Let's see. I will go. Yeah, I'll sit here. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm gonna go over here. I've never sat here. Whenever I've come here, there's always people sitting right here. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Wow. It's nice to get into the shade and have some water here. Yeah, we must be 30 now, 30 degrees Celsius. All right. Ooh, that sun is bright, and it's getting low earlier. I think it's about 4:30 p.m. Checking into the Sheraton straight ahead. Yeah, so that fenced off area there used to be Eau Claire Market. You can get a better look from here. I'm not going to pedal over there. I did show that in another video. That's the YWCA to my right, and looks like they're doing some construction in there too, and they're setting up for something. When I came through here last night, these tents weren't here. Must be some music event or festival event, maybe an ethnic thing. That's one thing they don't have here, like in Winnipeg. They have folklorama. And they don't have anything like that here. I think when I moved here from Winnipeg when I was younger, I expected that they would, but nothing even close. But these obelisk sort of things here, I don't know what that's, just art, I guess. Maybe it's to help break down the wind. Not sure. But this is the Sheraton. Yeah, they're going to develop further over there where Eau Claire used to be, Eau Claire Market. I'm going to drive through the valet parking here. Yeah, there's a few restaurants here. It's nice. And the company I worked for many years, we used to have our Christmas parties here, a few of them. And they would always put us up here for the night. So we would stay here. And these funky lights. Red light, but you get a green walk signal, and you can actually cross diagonally too. So lots of office towers. I'm not sure which footage I'm going to use. I came through here yesterday as well, and it was getting dark. Maybe it was not dark, but evening. Kind of like the contrast of the sunshine and shade. So we have a lot of these plus 15s in Calgary. I think I counted either 66 of them or 86 in the downtown area. Not sure how many kilometers, but I'm sure if you're curious, you could Google search it. These sidewalks were put in, I think, around the Olympics, late 80s. And I heard recently they're going to be upgrading all this. At one point in time, this didn't exist. It was just a regular street with normal sidewalks. And yeah, I'm gonna try and make this bite. But in areas it's getting kind of rickety. Yesterday for a coffee. All their pastries are made fresh in here. I was impressed. They've broken all this up with flowers and planters and seating, and almost made the whole street into a park on both sides, yet still permitting traffic flow, vehicular traffic. It's a more scenic walk than the other streets, put it that way. Beams and skyscrapers. Came through here last night, which was Tuesday night. I could not believe how busy the bars were on the pedestrian mall on 8th Avenue. They were packed. It was like a Friday or Saturday. So that's good to see, you know, these places getting business. This is 7th Ave. C-train is free through here along 7th Avenue. I've actually got to come here in another hour to go to the optician core. Peace office. You don't see peace office. These are Calgary Transit peace officers. I wonder why they're stopping. Who knows? So the 8th Avenue pedestrian mall runs this way to the left. When I grew up in Calgary during the 1970s, this was all 100% pedestrian. I think about 20 years ago they split it. So traffic is permissible during part of the day. Right now it's pedestrian and bike. And it's pretty busy. I mean, last night was busier. Doctors Hall. Those were two of the biggest, tallest towers in Calgary back in their day. There's twin towers. One was built in '92, the other was completed in '96. They're all marble. They look a tad dated now, as does pretty much everything from, I don't know what the architects were thinking back in the late 80s, early 90s. All that stuff looks extremely dated. There's another look, that's looking north. So that's kind of where I came from. Actually, it is pretty busy through here. Maybe pushing 5 o'clock. And this is my old stomping grounds. When I was a kid, I used to hang out on the 8th Avenue Mall. I was a bad delinquent kid. So I was hanging around the 3-ring circus, the billiards on 7th Ave, 3-ring circus arcade, Express Cafe was on 7th, the Gallery arcade. The old Palace movie theater, I used to go there when I was a kid. Now it's a music venue of some sort. Back then, all the movie theaters were situated downtown. All of them. There weren't any in the suburbs at all. And now that's where all of them are. There might be a couple downtown still, but... And on the corner up here used to be the Prospector restaurant. I don't know what they're going to do with the bay because they've closed now. The main floor is still a restaurant, like a steakhouse called The Guild, and they've been there for about 5 years. And they were paying rent, I believe, to the bay. This is where I used to go for lunch every day when it was the Prospector on the corner here. Many years ago. Calgary's first Starbucks used to be on the corner right here. It's been a few different stores since then. It's not really worth mentioning, but I do remember that. And that's the Palliser Hotel over there. This building, Bank of Montreal building, it was actually a bank when I was younger. I had an account here. And then it was A&B Sound through the 90s. Now it's Good Life Fitness. Every major Canadian city has a Bank of Montreal that looks similar to this. Winnipeg has one downtown. And there's a look at our bay. And the difference between this and the one in Winnipeg is it has that canopy, like the enclosure, so when it was raining, you wouldn't get exposed to the elements. It's kind of very European in design. And, so yeah. And I call it the new City Hall, but that's straight ahead, that big glass structure at the end. But everything up here is closed when I get further up. They're doing some utility upgrades and that for the Glenbow Museum, and they've demolished the old Calgary Olympic Park Plaza, and they're constructing a new Olympic Plaza slated to open in 2029. Along here used to be a lot of head shops and clothing stores when I was younger. I think Tropicana is still here, and that was one of my head shops. It's still there. Boodlam used to be somewhere in here too, was another head shop. When I was younger, I worked in the next block part-time one summer at Kelly's Stereo Mart, and that was up on the left. But I love how they've restored all these buildings and repurposed them. It looks a lot like the Exchange District type buildings in Winnipeg, but I'm not sure if they're even being used in this manner. I don't think so. But I know in Winnipeg you don't get anybody going downtown like this. Calgary, they've really revitalized. It's always been fairly busy down here. Hudson's Block. And this is actually, somebody told me this was the first bay before they opened the bay back there in 1904 or 1910. This was the first Hudson Bay store right there. And you can look it up, that is the first bay. The bay that I passed further back opened during the 1900s, and it was built in 2 phases. There's the Bow. So this extension of the 8th Avenue Mall is closed. Well, closed to vehicular traffic, but now this has got to do with the maybe part of the Glenbow Museum modification, upgrades, or the new Calgary Olympic Plaza. They demolished the old one that was built back in the 80s, and it took up a few city blocks, that park. Not much to see through here. So that must be for the Glenbow Museum, probably doing plumbing and utility upgrades. It's taken a long time to get this thing. I think they've been working on the Glenbow now for at least 4 years. And I haven't seen what they've done inside, but... And the old Calgary Olympic Plaza was in here. Now it's scheduled to reopen in 2029. I wonder if I can get a shot. What a massive undertaking this has been. So, slated for 4 years of development. And this is City Hall. Oh, it's under construction too. What are they doing here? Who knows? This. There you go. Sure looks different. And the old City Hall is just over here. Yeah, there's the old City Hall. This City Hall was built around 1992-93. I still call it the new City Hall. Anyway, I'm going to head back home. I'll film a little bit along the 8th Avenue Mall as I pedal back. Just pedaling back the opposite direction. Out the other side of that construction. Gonna head west on 8th Avenue. Milestones has been there for at least 35 years. I forget what was there before. Just pedal back this way, get a different angle. That sun doesn't impact the shot. Yeah, you know, Winners, that's been here for a long time. I forget what was there before. It's really sad to see the bay go. That's like an iconic institution in Canada. A lot of memories going to this bay, but also the bay in Winnipeg when I was a kid downtown with my mom and dad. And, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with it. There's really no more major retailers in Canada. Zellers is gone, the Bay is gone, Eaton's is gone, Simpson Sears is gone. So those companies were major anchors in all the malls across Canada. So every mall always had a Sears or an Eaton's, which is also gone. Eaton's. Different times. Everybody's buying stuff online, and I mean, I'm guilty of that too. Not that I'm guilty, it's just that I do it. I think for some things I'd rather go in person to look at it, to touch it, to feel it, to try it on. But I have to admit, a while ago I wanted to go check out a boombox, and I went to go look at the physical boombox at Best Buy. Looked at it, listened to it, checked it out, and then I went online and bought it on Amazon for $100 less. So
No.
it's like the retailers, they should be wise to that. It's nice and shady through here. That's nice. I'm gonna make this light. So yeah, rush hour, a lot of people getting off work, going for their drink, their dinner. But and it's a long weekend coming up too. But also, like I mentioned earlier, we missed out on summer in July. It rained all the time, so I think everybody's trying to get out there now and enjoy the beautiful weather we've been having. To my right is called the Core. It used to be called TD Square. Still Devonian Gardens, indoor gardens, fountains and koi fish and ponds. A lot of people would go there in the winter on their lunch break or whatever. And that's the one nice thing about Calgary is all these plus 15s to get you. You don't even need to go outside once you figure them out. Last night, My battery died right on this corner for my GoPro, and I went in here for a cappuccino up here, a little ways up. Right here is where I came last night, this place. And I think I'm on the wrong side. Yeah, there is a split bike lane. I didn't realize that. Sometimes they share the same side. But anyway. Got to get up here, take the path south on 5th Street here. Yeah. I'm just going to stand here. So, back when I was a kid, it looks like the Uptown or whatever is still there. There used to be another one. I think that's the Town. It used to be the Uptown Theater here. By the looks of it, they're going to refurbish this and do the abatement or whatever they're doing. This building is weird. It looks crooked, but it's not. And yeah, I'm going to get on this path and head home. Maybe an hour later than I am today last night, so there weren't people lined up like this at the light. Now downtown is behind me. Just barely made this light. And I'm going to take this up to 17th Avenue. Avenue is what they used to refer to as Electric Avenue. Back in the 90s, it was a trendy place to hang out. And a lot of fights, a lot of crime at that time. Calgary was a growing city. So they closed all of the bars along Electric Avenue. And 35 years later, they got a whole bunch of other bars on 17th Avenue. And it's just as rowdy or more than it used to be. One of the most rowdiest clubs on Electric Avenue used to be called Coconut Joe's, and I went by there the other day. Now it's a daycare center, like for kids, daycare center. These clowns. passing everybody like it's a slalom course, and then I keep seeing them at the same red light. Yeah, there's no point in putting people's safety at risk just to jump a light. And guess what? Another high rise going up there. And the Red Mile is just like nothing but restaurants like this and bars. Yeah, that direct sunlight might not work in my favor for the camera. Even despite the city widening these sidewalks here, they still put those extensions for a lot of the restaurants out. That happened during COVID, so people could sit outside, and every summer since, the city has incorporated that along the Red Mile and a few other places downtown. This is on my left, this is Western Canada High School. I traveled Thailand a lot, and I was really disappointed with that tuk tuk Thai. There's so much salt. I had to bring it back. I got a block away while I was eating it, and it was just like sodium. I don't know what these cooks are thinking when they put so much freaking salt. And after you reduce something, the salt content just intensifies. It was unpalatable. And the lemon, I think they put lemongrass in there, and it was just like sucking on a lemon. It's like, what the hell? So yeah, there's something to be said about Calgary and the restaurant culture and that here. It strives to be something it's not. It's definitely not Toronto, but the prices reflect that when you're paying 20 bucks for a friggin' burger. And none of the burgers have cheddar cheese. They're all plastic fake cheese, you know. Coming up here is one of my favorite little parks near where I live, Tompkins Park. I might do a quick pedal through there. I sat here a few days ago with a few people. That one guy, we knew all the same people from 40 plus years ago, but I didn't recall him. It was interesting talking about the old days downtown. Yeah, we were sitting here. And this is a licensed park, so you can drink here. You can have open alcohol. And I talked to the owner of a liquor store. He was having lunch here one day. And I no longer drink. But he said once they licensed this park, his business quadrupled, like, instantly, understandably. There's Best Buy. And this is the Red Mile, 17th Avenue. So after hockey games, if Calgary wins, which they seldom do, you'll see people out here dumping out in drunkenness and yelling, and all the bars packed. And there's a Canadian Tire over here. And I'm going to do one more pass through the park and then head home. Nice, well-maintained gardens here. Analog Coffee. I remember when that used to be a convenience store. There's Shoppers Drug Mart. They're kind of like Boots, you know, Boots in the UK. They're everywhere. Or what do they have that in the US? CVS, CSV, or whatever. I think I've got 4 Shoppers Drug Marts within a 10-minute walk where I live. Same with Dollarama. So I'm going to continue this way and head home.